Hello everyone, welcome to Optimal Timelines. I am your guide, Sean Collins, and helping you to connect to your most optimal future timeline. So it's that time again. It's going to be your monthly tarot readings for the month of May 2021. And as always, it's going to be for your North Node by sign and house. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what your North Node is, in the description box below, there's going to be a couple of videos that explain it. But the reason, as my regular viewers know, the reason I use your North Node by sign and house as opposed to your sun, moon, or ascendant is because I find that the readings are much more accurate and much more relevant. So people that share the same North Nodes by sign and house have much more in common with each other than people that share the same sun sign, for example, or moon or ascendant. So as I said, you can check the description box below if you have any questions about your North Node. And let's get started. This is going to be your monthly tarot reading for May of 2021 for everybody with their North Node in Gemini and or the third house. So I'm going to connect to the energies and we can begin. I call upon my spirit guides and guardians and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see this reading, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, so the spread over on this side of the table is for the first half of the month from the 1st to the 15th. And over here is the spread that represents the 16th to the end of the month. So the first half of the month, you know, the interesting thing that's playing out for you is I feel like there's a lot of breakthroughs for a lot of you. And if there's not if for some of you, if it's not a breakthrough, you're working toward that. And I'll explain. So one of the things that's going on is that there is some sort of an authority figure within your life that you are having to deal with and also process and like make sense of. And it's in different ways. What I mean by an authority figure, what could this mean? Okay, this could mean everything from a parent or someone else in authority, like a boss, supervisor. It could also be sometimes, like this comes up, this energy, a person we're in a relationship. And the reason I say that is because the people that are in our close relationships, like a romantic relationship, to us, it's almost like because it's so important, they could be like an authority figure, not that they're over us or we're over them type of thing, but that you can see this energy. I've seen this over the years play out this way. Okay, so some sort of, it could even be, like a government agency or something, to that effect. But I'm feeling it's more on a personal level. So we're looking at like job, family, relationship type thing. Okay, that's coming up. And I feel like for a lot of you, you're starting to feel this inner freedom that's bubbling up. Now, this authority figure also could be like an inner authority figure, meaning that like we could have within us sometimes, an inner critic, an inner old curmudgeon, that resides within us, like that have our old belief systems, and like our outward consciousness, or can sometimes almost be like, it could be like a dual thing where, that this inner voice or whatever, this old curmudgeon we're trying to break away from, like our outer consciousness doesn't want to deal with it anymore. And I feel like, so there's even that thing, but I feel like this authority figure, wherever it's coming in your life, is you're feeling this new, starting to see these inklings of this inner independence and outer independence, where you're feeling like a freer type of an energy. Now, the reason this has come about is because those of you that have been doing the good work, the key word is perspective. Getting a proper perspective on life, on your life. Okay, so when it's proper to focus in on things, look up close. When it's a different situation, to pull away, see the bigger picture. And I feel like those of you that are having this success and freedom are seeing this whole like thing in a new light, because you're looking at different angles. So close angles, close perspectives, focusing, pulling back, seeing the big picture, all of that is really helping you. Also, it's like this renewal of, I feel like an opening of the heart that's wanting to take place. And some of you are experiencing that, and others will be experiencing that. And it's freeing. And I'm seeing like when this, it's like this, for those of you that are having this, you're freeing yourself up from this inner authority that is overly strict, that has been overly strict in your life, this inner authority. When you're freeing yourself up, and this, it is almost like an ending, like you're putting an end to this way of being. Now, when this comes up, the way the energy is going to really play out is it's going to give you a lot of creativity in your life. And that means that you could have the ability to start doing the things that you've always wanted to do, to focus more on the things that you've wanted to do, to move in directions that you've wanted to move in. So this like whole heart opening, and is playing out with creativity, with better like emotional life. And, don't get me wrong. So the first half, of the month or whatever, and how this is playing out, it might be somewhat of an uncomfortable situation. But when you can look at the proper perspective and say, you know what, like, I'm not going to react the same way I've always reacted. I'm going to look at this from new angles. And you're dealing with that authority figure in a certain way, and it could be new ways of dealing in your relationship. This is going to free up all that emotional creativity that's going to just like flow out, okay? And that's really kind of your work is in this life, is really to explore the full range of ideas, to ask questions, to be curious, about life, to look at different paths, like, okay, that looks interesting and this looks interesting, to not get stuck in, in old curmudgeonly, like there's only one way to do things, there's only one way to think about things. And so you're exploring, the more you can explore these other ideas, I feel like that's what's coming up, for you. And I feel this like lightening of energies. Now, for those of you that are going down this path but are a little bit behind the people that have been doing the work, you can play catch up and get more on this. And the key is to deal with things in new ways, not follow the same way you've always done things, to be curious, to ask yourself questions. Well, why have I always thought this way? Why have I always reacted this way? And so these, by the act of asking questions and being curious, as opposed to, that inner critic or curmudgeon. And like I said, this could play out. You could actually be dealing with a physical authority figure, and that could be, but maybe you are going to deal with that situation in a new way. And then moving on to the second half of the month, I feel like this breakthrough energy can continue on. And I'm getting this for a lot of the signs, but I'm getting something, definitely with regarding kind of self-care. And there's been this theme this month. I'm really amazed about the whole giving and receiving theme. Now, for you, the way this is going to play out is, if you are able to deal with this situation or situations in your life in the best way possible, which is moving toward your North Node in, the third house and or Gemini. Okay, when you do this, it could have immediate positive results in your life. Like, for example, maybe it's some of you are wanting, like a raise, or to, get a new position or something to that effect. And by you changing, saying, I'm going to do things a little different. I'm going to look at it from different angles and different perspectives. It could have huge, like, actual physical payoffs. And that's the whole giving and receiving thing, The other thing too is that, part of this whole energy that's going on is, as I mentioned, is this open-heartedness and opening yourself up and not being so guarded. That is part of this whole opening thing. So when we get stuck in our ways, for example, like, let's say there's, that inner, old curmudgeon I was talking about. You just like, there's one way to do things and it's this way, and I've always done it this way, we can be vigilant that anything that varies from the plan, we could, fear that. Okay. And what that does is that closes off the energy. It's like, there's only this one way to do things. There's only one way to approach things. And when you see that there's other ways, and you have this opening of your heart, opening this energy, it opens you up to, success. And I feel like for a lot of you, because, right now the North Node for everybody is in Gemini. And so when the nodes, what I've noticed is when the nodes align, because the nodes, if you've, watched my North Node video, part 1 and 2, the nodes about every 18 months, like roughly 1.5 years, the nodes change positions. So all of the infants born within those chunks of time, those 18 months, that's how our nodes, because we were born at that certain time, that's when the nodal axis, was active. Well, right now, I've noticed that when our North nodes align with the collective North Node, the way the nodes are, it's kind of like it's graduation time. And it's time to, say, all right, how have I been doing on this North Node path? And so the North Node is in Gemini right now. So I feel like that's why this energy is so close to bringing you success. And if you're watching this reading and listening to it, and if you're like, well, I'm not experiencing all of this openness and success and feeling this freedom in my life, it's okay. Okay. It's, everyone is on a different timeline path. The way to get on the better timeline and especially while the node, the lunar nodes are in Gemini, is to do the things I've been saying, to go into, research your North Node. What is it to have a North Node in Gemini or the third house? Okay, research it and start applying those things and the things we talked about here, and then you can play catch up, because as I've always said, and one of the things I've noticed, that no one that talks about the lunar nodes ever talks about this, but it's something very magical. When we start moving toward our North Node by sign and house, when we start putting in energy and effort, we are rewarded from the universe. Okay? Huge rewards come. And very quickly. It's not like, oh, I'm doing this much work and painting the house and I'm going to get this much effort. No, you start painting the house and it's like, boom, it's like finished. Like you get 10 workers that come and help you. Okay, it's crazy the way this works out. Okay, so when you start putting effort toward your North Node, you get help and assistance from the universe. So if you're not experiencing this, great stuff, it's right there for you. Don't wait. Start getting into your North Node, leaving, or I should say tempering the South Node tendencies. And you could find yourself very, very quickly getting on a fast track to really great things. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful. Thank you for spending some time helping me grow the channel, watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing. As I said, I hope this resonated with you. If you'd like a personal reading, there's going to be a link in the description box below. And thanks again, and many blessings.